Mike Butcher here with TechCrunch, and I'm here with Neelie Kroes, who's the Vice President of the European Commission and also the Commission for the Digital Agenda in Europe. Now, you're announcing a new initiative today here at Founders Forum in London, and there are a number of initiatives going on right now, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But first of all, tell us about the startup project you're working with.
Well, that was an interesting meeting not that long ago, a couple of months ago, with startups and with founders of, in the meantime, impressive companies. And I asked them for advice, and I asked them straightforward the question, what would you do if you were me in this position and this portfolio? And they were discussing it with each other, and they said, we will be back and we will just line up and we will hand over a manifesto. And I'm sincerely hoping that today they are indeed handing over a manifesto with advices for what has to be done in Europe to be anyhow more in the driver's seat talking about these activities.
What's sort of some of the initial feedback you've got prior to the formal manifesto that you're going to be presented? What are some of the things that you pick up from founders? What do they tell you?
Well, the founders always started, and rightly so, that there is a lot of talented initiative in Europe, and that we can be proud of that, and that we should be far more outspoken than we are, and that is absolutely a real point that I'm agreeing upon. We should be proud. We shouldn't be any time referring to other parts of the world. We have our own centers of excellence. We have our own excellent companies. Having said that, of course, there needs to be far more a single market approach. And the single market approach means no borders, no barriers. And when you are in one country and you want to enlarge your company or your activities, that you are not confronted with a lot of bureaucracy and what have you. And again, starting in that same procedure. But also talking about tax, talking about venture capital, talking about crowdfunding, and a lot of those issues that are on a daily basis a little bit hindering, or sometimes a lot hindering, those initiatives, that is at stake.
This is one of the, oftentimes you get an entrepreneur starting something in one part of Europe, but then having a subsidiary somewhere else and trying to mitigate tax and things like that.
Yeah, but also talking about skills and education. We need to be far more active in that field too. For me, it is quite tempting. In 2015, we will be confronted with vacancies of more than 1 million number jobs that are ICT-related skills, and we are on one hand faced with unemployment, and especially youth unemployment, of unacceptable height, and on the other hand 2015 that we have to take into account that 1 million jobs have to be fulfilled. So that means that we should be more aware that skills and education are so important. What we started together with the business world is a grand coalition. And then you can log in, and you can log in and find out what part of your CV is missing, what part should be filled in. And that type of activities and initiatives are really main. But talking about skills and education, it is really important. Access is important, and of course, what I was already mentioning, talent. It is there and it is impressive, but we have to make it a bit easier. What I'm now working for and being active in, together with a couple of other ones who could give me a hand, is a one-stop shop that you as a starter or you as a owner of a company, but you want to go further and go for a broader clientele, that you know where to find what, get your information, and not just walking around and be desperate that you don't get it in one package.
Do you think that that's the place of the Commission to create that sort of portal, or do you feel that, or do you think the private sector isn't capable of creating that?
Well, I'm not saying that we are the only one and that the other ones are failing or whatever. I'm aware that there is absolutely a wish that there is a point, a shop where you can go to, and today it is a portal, so or it is anyhow a website where you can find everything you need, what is available, what could be done, where and when.
One of the things that startups have had to face over the recent years is EU regulation around things like privacy. Particularly, I mean, one thing that impacted most immediately was the cookie legislation. What do you feel that that's still something that you want to continue to push? I mean, to some extent, startups, small startups had to introduce exactly the same kinds of measures as very large companies. Do you think that was fair?
Let me just start with saying I'm very much in favor for data protection, and I'm very much in favor for delivering as the European Commission as soon as possible the total package, so to say. It is unacceptable that we haven't the same due diligence as in other parts of the world, so to say. So we have to do that. And then, of course, we need to take into account that it is transparent and that people can follow up. But I don't accept that there is a difference between parts in the world and that we are not taking care of our own citizens, and that is also with the issue that you are mentioning.
Well, exactly on that issue is the issue of PRISM, which has just recently arisen. What sort of actions is the Commission going to take around PRISM, and what's your feeling about that story right now?
Well, it is a big wake-up call. And if someone was still neglecting that it is an issue, then we are all awake now. And it is a fascinating area. It is not that easy. It's not black and white and one solution fits all, so to say. But this is by far the best opportunity that you could think of, that Europe could take the lead and offer special, tailor-made solutions and go for quality. And indeed more advanced than what we are used to. And we don't want to be dependent on the US or the People's Republic of China. We should have our own system in this.
Do you foresee a sort of an oncoming kind of data protection war almost? I mean, companies potentially being sued, Google and Facebook potentially being sued in the EU for handing over or at least participating in the PRISM program? Do you see some sort of both legislation and some sort of battle on that front?
Well, anyhow, we have to do our job properly, and that is in Europe. And we need to protect our people, no doubt about that. And the sooner the better that is indeed in that protection package that is at stake. I am absolutely aware that it should be clear and transparent, and it should be in line with the law and the regulations that we are favoring and that we are backing. And then it is clear that Europe has the own responsibility.
What do you feel at the end of the day? You've done quite a lot over the last couple of years to champion startups and champion entrepreneurship in Europe. What do you feel is going to be one of what would you like to be your legacy from all of this activity?
Well, it is not talking about my legacy, but what I really am not only dreaming of, but working on, that it is a competitive market in Europe and that we are again in driver's seats. We do have so much talent in Europe and we do have opportunities. And look at the data protection now. This is the moment that private initiatives could be put at the table, and that we can give a difference, and a difference where the citizen is interested in, and then we can make business out of it, and that is not a bad thing either. For me, high-speed broadband, for it's all connected with indeed connections, is one of the issues that we really should be focusing on, and one single market for telecoms. But I'm saying for telecoms in a way, it is not, it is an instrument. It is a single market for the whole, and it's all connected with every economic activity at the moment, talking about ICT, and that should be taken into account, that this is the opportunity for growth, economy, growth and jobs.
How long do you think it will take?
Well, I still have 1.5 years in office, and I'm determined to do my utmost till the last day that this will be finalized.
Neelie Kroes, thanks for talking to TechCrunch.
Thank you.